There it is. We are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Open Book. I am Billy Price, co-founder of BILLY Footwear. And sharing the screen with me today is an amazing woman. She's a mother of an amazing, amazing girl. And before I introduce her, I just want to kind of set the stage here. You know, oftentimes if we're feeling sick or if we're having some sort of whatever the case may be, we want to go to the doctor and we want to find answers. And unfortunately, sometimes those answers aren't given to us as we'd expect them to be given. So today, I wanted to give Toni the opportunity to share the amazing story of her daughter and how she's opened up amazing possibilities, amazing opportunities, and how it really brought us onto her radar. So Toni, welcome.
Hi. So good to be here.
Yeah,
I'm so
thank you
glad.
so much, Toni. It's such a pleasure. And I think a great place to start would be, let's just talk about Hazel's story.
Okay. Typically I noticed a lot of the things that parents with children with disabilities do notice: the delay in the first the gross motor skills, the rolling over. I noticed that her fist was clenched. And first time mom anxiety, like, you don't need to worry about it. You go to the doctor. I'm like, listen, I know something is off. I don't like to say wrong because nothing is wrong with Hazel. In my eyes and many people's eyes, she's perfect. But I knew that she wasn't typically developing. So like I went along with this because I wanted to believe that there wasn't anything happening. But like there's two mom guts. There's like the paranoid mom gut, and then there's the mom gut. And I knew in my mom gut that something was not developing properly. So then fast forward to Hazel was 11 months, and we had an appointment with a neurologist. And the neurologist, we went and we had a brain MRI. He diagnosed her that day with left spastic hemiparesis. And he said she'll walk at 18 months. She'll have a little bit of a delay. And I remember sitting there saying, I don't want to ask this question, but will she walk? But because for some reason, we're all geared towards, is she going to walk? I don't get that. The more experience I have, it's things that I wish I could go back and ask is she going to be happy? Because I know that. So he said, oh, absolutely. She'll walk by 18 months. And, at no fault of his, because he's given this umbrella of cerebral palsy. And she had a normal brain MRI, but she still had the cerebral palsy diagnosis. So we dive into therapies and we dive into advocacy and we dive into t-shirts, and we've had so many wonderful people support us and friends. And Hazel's incredible. She is the most, collectively across the board, any therapist would say Hazel's the most determined child you'll ever meet. She doesn't give up. She doesn't quit. She doesn't cry. She doesn't say, I don't want to do PT today. She just does it. She inspires me all the time. So I noticed after being in the world of disability for a while, in the world of therapy, that, her speech wasn't developing, and she was past 18 months and she wasn't walking. And so I started to reach out and really try to delve into what was happening with Hazel. And you have to make some noise when it comes to medicine. I mean, and I understand how much pressure people are under as medical providers and specialists, physicians, nurses. I get all that, but I had to make some noise. And I believe the first email I sent was November 4th, 2018, questioning her diagnosis. And April 17th, 2019, I was heard by one of her physiatrists. So referred back to neurology, genetic testing, lumbar punctures, faulty lab tests, medications, case studies filling this room. And we ended up, we did exome sequencing, which is a 25,000 gene panel or 20,000 gene panel, nothing. A small variant in her mitochondria, which was a 6% variant of unknown significance. The only other person in the world who had anything wrong with this, or who had anything, a mutation It's not even a mutation. It's a variant of unknown significance, and had ptosis and psoriasis, which is droopy eyelids and an itchy skin rash. And my child has speech apraxia and, works really, really hard, doesn't hold on to a lot of gains. And so it was at that point I hit a hole. Yeah. You just go into a hole. And you start wondering, what do you mean you don't know? I don't. And thankfully, throughout my research, I remember my friends and family will tell you they could barely have conversations with me because I would just talk about like tyrosine deficiencies. And like one of my friends who's a physician, she can attest to the multiple text messages she would wake up to, referring to case studies. And, people just don't know how to comfort you. Because I'm not going to teach myself neurology and genetics in 4 months. It's just not going to happen. But I was trying. Right. I was trying. So I was sitting down here actually, and I was just defeated. I just felt so defeated. But I had a really special friend. Her name is Amy, and I might get choked up, but she held my hand through everything. She told me what not to do. And she and I had talked about like support groups and like what we could do for a long time. And I sat down here and I thought, I can't figure this out. Like, I'm not going to figure this out. But I need help. I need someone who understands. Like, thankfully I had Amy. There's a lot of people that don't have an Amy. And so the next day, I called her and then I wrote a proposal to the Children's Institute here in Pittsburgh, which we were not affiliated with them, but they gave us a meeting place. And we had another mom, Bree, and we all said, let's do this. It was approved, and we came up with flyers, and then there was another woman, Yafa, who happened to be a graphic designer, and she updated my horrible flyer because my flyer was horrible, but it was a flyer, right? I mean, we want to get to the mountaintop, and we want everyone to come to the mountaintop, but Amy would consistently remind me, we just have to show up. We just have to show up. We just have to show up. And the support group has been really, it's connected a lot of, it's real. We encourage the emotional aspect of it because not all of this is pretty. It's a tough road because you have to, for lack of a better term, mourn normalcy. You have to mourn the idea, like you and I were discussing before, my arch nemesis. I used to envision Hazel and I at a playground. Now it's my arch nemesis, which hopefully one day it will not be, but still it's not something that I like to go do because it's very hard on both of us. And it can be a reminder of like the limitations.
Yeah. So a couple of things. So first off, how old is Hazel now?
Hazel is 4 years old. This is from Christmas. Yeah. And she is she's a bright light. Yes, she's such a strong child. At this age, she's starting to notice certain things are different. I had her watch a video from Christmas, and I think it was the first time she had ever realized that it's like a speech apraxia thing. What she's thinking and what is coming out are two totally different things. Mm-hmm. And she was so upset when she heard herself react to Christmas morning. That just kind of broke my heart. But she is overall the happiest child I've ever known. She's so happy and sweet, and she gets her point across, believe me. Like, she gets her point across.
Oh, man. Well, I had the opportunity to meet Hazel just a little bit in preparation for this call. And yeah, just you could feel the light and you can see the light, and just an amazing, amazing young gal. So 4 years old, the support group, how long has the support group been in play?
So that was July 2019 was our first. It's the first Tuesday of every month. And now we've kind of taken it to Zoom. But it's been since then, since the first Tuesday of every month, we would show up with coffee and just show up.
Yeah. So it started with really three gals, and then how many are part of the group now?
We've had about 7, 8, yeah, it's been great. It really has, like kind of core.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so much that you're talking about. I mean, there's so many elements in my own personal story that I can resonate with. I mean, just the very beginning, we were talking about the question of like, can you walk? I mean, is she going to walk? And I know after breaking my neck, that was the first thing that my mind went to. There were so many other things that I could have asked, but it was like, will I walk again? And the answer was no. And
Right.
you receive that kind of information. It's very difficult to process.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you so vulnerable, and there's so much unknown there that, having a support group and be able to share that weakness and share that emotion, it's amazing how much strength can be drawn from the just really authentic and willingness to open up.
Right. Absolutely. And I think that's also where the we were talking about before. I think that's where the passion sparked, when those walls come down and you could say how it truly is. And that's where the change begins, because
Right.
the change isn't going to happen overnight. It hasn't happened overnight. It's not an inclusive society. I'm not a fan of the word, I just want it to be a society.
Yeah.
Like you said, with no silos. Like, let's just be people. Like how your shoe line, like, it's for everyone. It's not just because you wear an AFO. It's, it's for kids that just want to be able to do it themselves, or parents who don't want to have to tie a shoe, and their kids can actually help get out the door, which is insanely difficult with children. It's just,
Yes, it is. Yeah, I mean, that word inclusion, I think it's a very powerful word, but I think we have to be careful with it as well, because inclusion, I mean, in my opinion, doesn't necessarily mean that you're not just picking up a group. What you're doing is, because I mean, if you're just picking up a group, you're keeping that group particularly in a silo. So you may have an athletic group, you have your business group, you have your, adaptive group, you can have like whatever type of group, but it's still kind of siloed.
Right.
So inclusion, if you're able to like remove those silos and make a level playing field, where everyone's invited to the party, that's the stuff that kind of really warms my heart. And it seems like, we're making a lot of great advances as a society to move in that direction, but we still have a long ways to go.
We do. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure.
So we came on your radar. So walk me through this, because we were just catching up on this. We came on your radar in 2018. So it's been
2018. Yeah, it was June 17th, 2018. And Hazel had therapy, and I had saw a little girl with your shoes on, and buying shoes. Listen, buying shoes for children with braces is the most daunting. I'm a shoe gal, and it's the most daunting experience of my life. And it literally brought me to tears. I mean, it brought me to tears every single time. And because the first option they give you is just not an option in my eyes. It's just not an option. Like, that's not going to happen. Black and white, and choose one, and this is what we're going to do. No, absolutely not. And then you get a second option, which has it's pink, it's just pink. And so it's a little colorful, but it's still difficult. And I saw these shoes, and I looked up your company, and then I reached out to you directly, because I didn't see toddler sizes on the site. And I said, my daughter needs a 7. What can I do? And this speaks to the heart of your company and who you are and what you're doing, is that you personally emailed me back and asked me what size is she, what you can do, what you're working on, what size is she, where your sizes start, but how you're looking towards a future to help kids. Now you have the toddler line. Like, we didn't have to wait until she's finally a 10. We would just be able to, purchase your shoes. She's been wearing them since she's been an 8 now. And she loves the fact that she could put them on herself, take them off herself. Hazel needs assistance with a lot of her daily tasks. And it's something that may seem so small and insignificant, just being able to take your shoes on and off. but those little things are what build her self-esteem throughout the day, where she can feel somewhat independent. Or she can feel, not even somewhat, she could feel independent in that moment, taking her shoes off. And I don't have to try to wiggle and squeeze and cut and redesign and repurpose anything for her to be able to wear a shoe. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart, because, it makes a huge difference in our lives. Like, it really, really does.
Mm. Well, Toni, thank you so much for that. I mean, and also thank you for your patience, because we weren't able to have everything right out of the gate like we wanted to, so it took a little bit to get there, but we did get there. We started off with kids, and then we got to the adults, and then we got to the toddlers later on. But man, hearing stories like that, I mean, those testimonies, that just really, really, it really warms my heart, because we're in the add value business, and we do what we can to be able to, fulfill that kind of mission. So thank you for your patience, and thank you for your support. And I just love hearing that, it helps with Hazel's independence. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Definitely adds value to our lives.
Does. Well, we have a lot of fun stuff coming in the future too. So I know one of the big requests is winter boots too. So we hope to have winter boots this coming fall. So I know that'll help a lot of people out too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, I mean, Toni, there's so many things we can chat about, and I just want to, first off, I really want to thank you for your time, and thank you for sharing. But is there something else that before we sign off, there's something else in your heart that you want to share? I just want to give you the mic one more time.
Yeah. So this morning I was in a class, and I had asked a bunch of leaders in disability. I mean, advocates for 50 years, attorneys. And I asked if there is any message that I can convey that's not just our story, but to society on a larger platform. And she said, Toni, I think it's always good to remind people that disability is an equal opportunity group. Anyone can enter this group at any time. This can help make something that might not initially seem important to a person or group of people suddenly seem important. So anyone can be part of advocating for just a society that can be I don't like the word inclusion, but inclusive, for lack of a better term. I just anyone can help.
Yeah, it's really that equality, really, that visual of leveling the playing field, and having everyone have the equal opportunity to be able to, whatever it may be successful in school, may it be, going to the park, may it be like going to the store, whatever it is, in apparel, that equality, and just, thinking of society as a whole. Those are powerful words for sure.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Well, Toni, thank you again so much for your time. This is amazing. Everyone else out there, this was another episode of Open Book. We will have another one next week. So until then, take care.